Origin Gen, Somlusuji reaction. This is Perseus, Planes of Bismarckian Proportion, Extra Mythology Part 1. Yes, I'm doing extra mythology video from extra credits. I'm still doing Cuba series, but I'm gonna upload it from 5 hours from now. Just the same time I uploaded yesterday. So yeah, right now mythology. Perseus was the undesirable grandchild of a king Acrisius, who wanted him dead, but accidentally just left him alive to float to a new. Oh yeah, they put it some kind of a box. His mother and him. Yeah, right. Then he became the undesirable adopted grandchild of the island's despot, Polydectes, who sent him on a quest to obtain the head of a gorgon. Oh yeah, because he wanted to marry Perseus's mother, right? But Perseus was in a way or something, so he wanted to get rid of him. Yeah, I remember that from OSP's video, I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I'm mistaking that or not. But yeah, that's the story. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction Sunday. There's a link in the description. Check out the class of different playlists like Oli Sakashi Proxon with all my mythological videos and different OSP videos there. History with all my historical videos like extra credits and different things. Internet historian, CGP Grey, Kazgaza in a nutshell. And yeah, that's always fun.
In Argos, centuries and centuries ago, there lived a king, Acrisius. He had a single child, a daughter more radiant than any other woman of the world. This child, though, he valued not, for what he wanted was a son. But you know what they say, be careful what you wish for.
Fucking Greece, anywhere in Asia, most of the places in the past world, there's always this kind of a strong, sexism when it comes to kids, right? People used to kill young kids because they didn't like the gender. That was just effed up.
Acrisius, king of Argo, in his desire for a son, went to Delphi to ask the priestess if he might have one. No, they told him, and threw in a bonus second part of the prophecy for free. They told him that his daughter, though, would have a son, and that son would, in time, kill him. Horrified, he decided...
Alright, no way in hell that any of those priestesses of Delphi had any kind of, magical powers or anything. Obviously, that's the most commonsensical thing you can think of. So they just made shit up. Obviously, they just made shit up. So every time they make shit up like this, like, you have famine in your house, I guess, sacrifice your own young child. Like, what the fuck? Oh, your daughter's son is going to kill you. I mean, they just wanted this horrible shit to happen. It's like they're eating popcorn from the distance, watching all the things happening. If I were there around that time, okay, no, that's not true. If I were around that time, I would believe in, Princess of Delphi too, because it's stupid to say it. But, having the knowledge of, today's standards, if I can go back in time, let's just say that, I would kill those fucking priestesses because they ruined so many people's life. These people around this time just, believe them, and they just, kill your child, kill your young child. Your children is going to overthrow you, so people kill their children. This is fucked up. I mean, obviously, this has a mythologies, but, enough historical evidence is there that, people used to do shitty things because some, priestesses of Delphi said or prophesied something.
Decided that the only way to avoid fate, something which if he had read any mythology, he'd realize you just don't get to do, was to kill his own daughter. He feared the Furies, though, for their vengeance was especially harsh for those who had committed crimes against their own blood. So being of
killing your family member, I mean, the Olympians cannot let that go.
Sound mind and quick thinking, as anyone who's about to kill their own daughter clearly is, he came to the most obvious solution. He figured he'd simply build a house of bronze underneath the ground with just enough of it open to the air that his daughter might breathe, and then imprison her there forever. Great plan, but it had one fatal flaw: Zeus. You see, Acrisius' daughter being...
Oh yeah, Zeus. Zeus is coming, right? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna just imprison my daughter and everything's gonna be fine. Oh, no, here comes the rescue. Is it a bird? Is it a play? Oh no, it's Zeus coming to rape somebody.
Lovely. And Zeus being Zeus meant that inevitably Zeus came down to her in the form of rain through the open portal and impregnated her. Because, that was kind of his thing. She was able to hide the pregnancy from her father, and even hide the boy she'd bore for
Yeah, I think that's PC version, not PG version, sorry. That's a PG version. Yeah, I think the real details must be really, yeah.
a little while. But eventually, Acrisius found them. So now, Acrisius really had to get his murder on. But he ran into the same problem, the Furies. Then, he had it. He hit upon an even sounder plan. If he'd put them both in a chest and drop it in the ocean, then he'd totally not be responsible for the murder. Get it?
How?
This would ensure it was totally the sea that killed them, not him.
It's Poseidon's fault. What? So I guess if you trap somebody in a box and throw them into the ocean and make them drown, you didn't kill them? Alright.
You see, the sea did it, you see. Huh? That sound logic was 100% going to work on the Furies. So with this,
this worries me. I mean, mythologies sometimes reflect culture. Sometimes, don't come after me in the comments. So around this time in the ancient Greece, there, if somebody was died indirectly, the person who's at fault was not at fault because he didn't directly kill him or something. That would be really fucked up if that was the case.
Impeccable and unimpeachable plan. He locked them both in a chest and dumped it over the side of a boat. But turns out his plan was both peccable and impeachable, because in his towering genius, he forgot to make the box, sink. Yup. He dumped them in a buoyant chest and didn't weigh it down. But they were still locked in the box, so from their perspective, still not great. And thus they floated, bobbing on the waves, until finally there was a thud, and the motion stopped.
Oh, okay.
They had washed up on a beach. And as fortune would have it, a fisherman found them and took pity on them. Childless, he brought them into his home, and with his wife helped raise the boy, whose name was Perseus. Perseus grew strong, following his adopted grandfather's trade, living simply with his family as a fisherman.
Yeah, you've seen the movies, right?
But peace was not fated for him, as his adopted grandfather's brother, Polydectes, the despot of the island, took notice of his mother, who was still very beautiful, and desired her, just not her son.
Okay, he was old. I don't think I saw that in OSP's video. I don't think he was depicted as really old. Damn.
Slightly more cunning than the last ruler we ran into, though. Polydectes came up with a crafty plan. Step 1. He befriended Perseus and told him about a group of terrible monsters that lived on an island far away.
That's the case with all the Greek heroes, right? Everybody, that's the thing in the Greek mythology. All the Greek heroes are somehow famous. They are badass. People know that. So every time somebody tries to get rid of them, they don't attack them. They don't try to kill them or anything like that. No. They know that they can't do that and they'll whip their asses. The heroes will basically, rub their face all around the ground. So they always come up with, let's send him to hunt a monster. The monster will kill him. That's the case with every time. That's the case with Hercules. That's the case with Perseus and almost, every other Greek heroes, I guess.
They were called the Gorgons. They had wild hair, all of snakes, terrible wings that beat the air, and whosoever looked at them turned to stone, living no more. Step 2. He told Perseus of his one great desire. More than anything else, he wanted the head of one of the Gorgons to treasure for his own. Step 3. He invited all of the great men of the island to a feast and declared that he intended to wed, knowing what would come next. Each of the guests in turn rose and toasted him and told him they would give him a horse for his wedding. But Perseus was poorer than these men and had no horse to give. So, as his pride welled up inside him, he stood and declared that he would bring the head of Medusa, the only mortal of the 3 Gorgon sisters, as a wedding gift. There was shocked silence, but the despot grinned. All had gone according to his highly straightforward plan. So Perseus raced out and boarded a ship for Greece before his mother could discover what he'd brought.
Yeah, so I guess, if Perseus is die, his mother is not going to be, you sent my son to hunt down all these monsters and he's dead now, but I guess that's all on him and you have no fault of this and I'm going to marry you. That's what his theory is there.
proposed, and before he could ask his mother what the despot might really be up to. So, having about as good of a plan as everyone else at this point, he made his way to Delphi to see if they might tell him what to do. In typical, helpful Delphic fashion, they told him to go to the land where people only eat acorns. And luckily, as the sheltered son of a fisherman who had never left his island before, he guessed the answer right in one try and knew exactly where they were talking about. So he made his way to Dodona, where the talking oaks speak the will of Zeus, and the people only eat acorns. Unfortunately...
Yeah, so see, the thing is, all the creature on the earth is basically helping these Greek heroes because they know that, how this kid came to be. It's the tragic and, shameful tale of Zeus. Zeus raped somebody and now there's a kid. Now mother was, left to, tend to the kid herself. It's a shameful thing. So everybody on the earth try to make up for it. So every time we see any Greek mythology where Greek heroes are helped around by the magical creatures, it's because they are all, ashamed of what Zeus did and trying to make up for it. Like, man.
They were basically no help at all because they didn't actually know where the Gorgons were. Despondent, he wandered aimlessly for a while, until at last he ran into a striking young man, fine of features, with just the beginnings of a beard, carrying a golden wand, wearing winged sandals, and a winged hat. He knew at once this must be Hermes. Hermes told him that to fight Medusa, he would need better gear. Specifically, some items a group of nymphs were holding on to. Unfortunately, and let's be real, at this point stereotypically, he couldn't tell Perseus where the nymphs were. All he could tell him was of the Grey Women, who alone knew the way to the nymphs.
Yeah.
And so he told Perseus of a twilight land, stuck in perpetual shroud, lit by neither the sun nor the moon, but some force of its own, where the three women lived. But these women were not like the mortal women Perseus knew. Oh no. They were gray and haggard, but did not age. More astonishingly still, they had the forms of swans with human heads. Most striking, though, the three sisters had but one eye between them. They would take turns with the eye, popping it out of their forehead and handing it to the next one when their time with it was up. It was to them he must go.
By then, any logical person would just say, you know what, I'm done with the quest. I don't need to bring back the head. I'm just going to tell that, king or whatever the guy is, despot, that, you know what, my bad, I failed, my bad. I'm not going near them.
To continue his quest for the weirdest wedding gift ever. And that's a story we'll all keep an eye on for next time.
Oh, there's a next time.
Could someone pass the marshmallows?
Okay, this is just one. Okay, I didn't know he did extra mythology in parts, but look at that. He's gonna go in deep with this one. Alright, that was the story of Perseus and how a despot, a king or whatever, tries to get rid of him because he wants to bang his mother. And apparently the guy is really old. I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, I like, how he's going deep into this, but, I like how, all this production talks about mythologies. But you know what, it's good to see other channels' mythology too, just to see difference of, details one here and there. That OSP clearly, intentionally left it out because it summarized things, it's sarcastic things, so yeah. Alright people, if you like my Rickson, don't forget to like and subscribe, check out the Rickson, there's a link in the description, check out the casual plays, check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.